The art of realism is about how well can you sell fantasy to a player realistically. And I know at first that kind of gives your head a spin, but let me just explain real quick what I mean. The reason this title and the thumbnail are the way they are is because I feel realism in games comes at a steep cost. People don't realize that when you make a game more realistic, you run the risk of adding in repetitive and boring tasks into your game. Because the thing about realism and real life in general is that there is a lot of struggle. There is a lot of things you have to get through. If you incorporated all that real life struggle into a game, after a while players would get tired and fed up with it and not want to play it anymore. So, how do you get around this? As a game developer, how do you make a realistic game, but one that a player will enjoy playing and coming back to again and again? It's simple. You take fantasy and you sell it realistically. Look at, for example, Red Dead Redemption 2. This game is praised for its realism, for its amazing graphics, and for the story that it tells, all in a real-world type fashion. The thing is though, is that if you actually look under the hood, you can actually see how they sneakily add in fantasy concepts. For instance, in Red Dead Redemption, a player doesn't have to worry about hunger killing them or dehydrating to death. They also don't have to worry about keeping themselves rested. And these things are not bad things. I'm not knocking on the game, but they are fantasy-based concepts. They are things that if you were to add to the game would dramatically slow up progression of the game and make the game more boring and repetitive to the player. Some would then say, but what about survival games? Are you saying that all of those are automatically horrible then, since they incorporate a little bit more of that brutal real-life experience? No, I don't hate those games. Well, I don't hate all of them. The reason why is because they do a good job of also incorporating fantasy concepts into their games. They just do a good job of selling you on the realism a lot more. See, even though survival games, you have to worry about your hunger and your thirst, at the end of the day, if you die, you can still respawn. At the end of the day, if you get injured, it's not going to be a lifelong thing. After a few minutes, you'll be okay. These fantasy things is what keeps the games fun and interesting and engaging. So many people love the Isle to begin with. It's why I love the Isle to begin with. It's why I can keep playing the game over and over and why it's so addictive to me. You have to understand that when it comes to a video game, people are playing it for the experience of the game. They're not playing it to be reminded of their life and its struggles and its mundane activities. That's why I hated so much on Path of Titans way back when. Path of Titans is garbage right now in its current state. In every game, yes, you can be realistic, but to a degree. At the end of the day, you still have to incorporate some aspects of that fantasy to keep players around and engaged. A game that is purely realistic with no fantasy concepts, in my mind, will always fail every single time. But that's just me, guys. Tell me what you guys think down below. Like and comment on this video. And as always, I'm Moonlight, and I'm just looking out for you.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.